Hey everyone, welcome to day one of the Marian Consecration. Pretty much I just wanted to give a quick rundown of, what we're going to be reading. And so I sent in the group text the first 12 days for St. Louis de Montfort. You don't have to read the sections that are highlighted. I put the paragraphs on the side if you want to read the true devotion, but the only part that is really recommended are the scriptures and sections from Imitation, which will be in the back half of the book. If you're still confused, message me privately and I can explain it a bit more in detail. But even one thing not to be as scrupulous about, I missed a reading, do I just throw in the towel at this point, or I read the wrong thing, or say I didn't do any of the right readings. The main point is that you pray with the renouncement of the world. That's what these first 12 days are over, is praying over the renouncement of the world, ridding ourselves from the spirit of the world. And you might wonder, how do we do that? What does that even mean? What's it mean to renounce the world? Why are we renouncing the world? And something that I noticed at the very beginning of the book that I think summarizes that well, in True Devotion, it's on page 2, at the very bottom. And it says, "He that is mighty hath done great things in me." It's a quote from Marian Luke, chapter 1, verse 49. And follow it says, "The world knows them not, because it is both incapable and unworthy of such knowledge." The world knows them not. The spirit of the world is actually what prevents us from coming to know ourselves and from knowing God. So before we enter into these stages of coming to know ourselves and coming to know who Christ is, we have to rid ourselves of that barrier, in a sense. The spirit of the world is what has put up this barrier for us to know God. And something that is good to know is all this starts off in the mind, right? It's the mind that we're first going to battle with when we're renouncing the spirit of the world. And so it's okay, then how do we do this? And it's one, scripture. This is what renews our mind. And that's why we start off with reading scripture in the Beatitudes. Because today is Matthew 5 when we go through the Beatitudes. And notice how it's not just the actions that Christ is talking about, it's what's going on in the heart. It's moving these exterior actions to the inward movements, right, of lust and anger. This is where the battle is taking place, is within the mind. And something that I think is very beautiful when St. Louis de Montfort writes, and Thomas à Kempis, which we'll read about later, is they weave scripture into their writing. It's woven within their thought. Whenever they think of something, they usually are pretty much just quoting scripture the whole time. And it's not just a reference for them, I think. It's more so that they're so consumed by the word that their natural instinct is to regurgitate scripture. This is the word. This is what Christ would say about this. And so, let this be the beginning of flooding ourselves with scripture to enter into renouncing the world. And so if you have any further questions on that, just shoot me a text or drop it in the group me. Be excited to kick this off and get started. Let's go.